Make sure you have exits for your property investing strategies. Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. Just quickly want to jump on this video as I wait for an agent to come over and sign off finally one of the projects that I've finished, and fingers crossed it all goes through. And this is for a housing provider, so there's a lot of things that do come back from time to time. If you've never dealt with them before, this is certainly a learning experience for me as well. But through this experience, I've gained a lot more insight and learned a lot more about how to work with different types of organizations, especially for kind of housing providers like this, and kind of what differences they look out for, right? And that kind of leads me on to having different exits and why it's so important for your investing strategy to have multiple exits when it comes to your investment, right? Purely because the fact that I'm going through this myself in terms of needing to use plan B, plan C on my investment for this property specifically, because the original plan of plan A didn't actually work out as I thought it would, hence why I need to use different plans. And with HMOs, I think it's extremely important, because with HMOs you're more narrow in terms of your tenant types, right? Because it'll be limited to the location of the property itself, what is it close to. If you want to do one type of tenants, could you switch another type of tenants? Would the location allow you to actually do that, right? As an example, if you made a property to house working professionals as a working professional HMO, are you able to then turn that into student HMO, right? Will the location itself allow you to put students in? Is it close to university? So that's very important, because that could potentially be an important exit for you if you need to use it if things happen, right, with the market, as an example. All of a sudden there might be another issue where working professionals, they might be not coming in the area, and you have a lower demand. You might need something else to come in to take over that HMO, and that could be students, and turn it into a student HMO. But if it's in the wrong location and you don't have that, what are your exits, right? And do you factor these things in when you first do your due diligence on a property? Now, I'm not even talking about after you purchase the property, because by that stage it's a bit late. You've committed to the purchase of a property and you need to do something with it, whether you actually go ahead with your plans and convert it into the HMO, or you turn it into something else. Maybe you can turn it into a buy-to-let, or worst case scenario, you can sell it and hopefully not make a loss from selling it, because as you know, buying properties, there's lots of different fees associated with it as well. It's not as simple as, let's say, 100k for purchase is 100k plus solicitors fees, plus lending fees, plus bridging fees, plus a whole lot of other fees. So you'll be in for a lot more than what you're purchasing it for. So hopefully when you do sell it, you can make a profit. If there's movement, or if you bought below market value, there should be a bit of profit there when it comes to selling. So the key point here is to make sure you've got exits when it comes to your projects. And one way that I do to help protect myself is to always do a project to a certain standard that would also cover different bases. So to give you a quick example, this project that I've done, originally my plan A was to do as a service accommodation, right? But the renovation itself, even though it didn't need to meet kind of HMO standards in a sense, so service accommodation, essentially I see it as like a buy-to-let, right? So you wouldn't really need fire doors or smoke alarm systems or any of that fire protection thing as you would do with a HMO. But despite that, I decided to up the renovation to have it as a HMO compatible, or you can use it as a HMO if you need to, as an exit plan, right? And that has worked out really well for me, because ended up, spoiler alert, ended up not using or going ahead with this property as a service accommodation. We deciding to run it as a HMO, more specifically for housing provider. So if I didn't do those things to actually have it as a qualifying HMO, if it needed checks like not having the fire doors, having the smoke alarms, etc., then I would be a bit of a sticky situation where I need to rip stuff out. So you need to rip the doors back out, the frames back out, and potentially cause more damage and cost a lot more than if I were to just spend money in the first place to do it up to a certain standard. So my way of protecting the exit side of things for this project was to actually just do it as a what would be a HMO, and use it as a service accommodation. Now, because the service accommodation element of it is not happening, I can still use it as a HMO because that's what it's been spec'd out to, and that's what's costed in the beginning. So it wasn't really a surprise in terms of the cost. Had to actually use a bit more of a contingency, which was a surprise. But in terms of the actual refurbishment cost, when you cost it out as a HMO, you're not too far off the actual final amount, right? Not including a contingency. So I think that's a very important point for you guys as investors, especially if you're just starting out and you don't really know what you're doing. I remember when I first started out, and it's kind of like a head spin, right? You can get overwhelmed with information, or you don't know where to begin, or you just don't know what the right decision is to do. But my tip is here to always be on the lookout for your different exits, plan for your different exits, and always think of scenarios of what if is always important. The what if plan A doesn't work, what's plan B? What if plan B doesn't work, what is plan C? And what do you need to do in order to achieve a product, which is the property, that would cover from plan A to plan C in this scenario. So yeah, super important, and I just wanted to share this lesson with you guys. It just sprung to my mind as I was sitting out here waiting for the agent to turn up, which I think it'll be about time he'll be turning up. And I figured I'll share with you guys a bit of tips that I've learnt along the way, being a HMO investor. Hopefully that's been helpful. If you guys want to know more or want to have a chat, always open to people reaching out to me for coffee, for a phone call, for a Zoom call, for a chat. I'm always happy to share any advice they might be looking for, as you know, I would, like the same for myself when I first started out. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. Hope you guys have a fabulous and fantastic day, and as always, I'll see you again soon.